Hey, this is Jay from Stitchin' Time in Bemidji, Minnesota, back for a lesson on the PE Design 11 software, and today we're going to be showing you how to do a little digitizing. We're going to bring in a logo that I made, and we're going to show you how to manually punch it out and turn it into stitches, and cover several areas, including how to remove stitch overlay, how to do different types of outlines and things like that, as much time as we can get in here in 15 minutes. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring in a picture, but I'm not going to manually digitize it. So I go up to, I'm not going to automatically digitize it. I'm going to go up here to the image tab in the top left. I'm going to click on open, and it's going to select from a file. So I'm going to go back down here, and this is my downloads. It's where I created it. And I have this little logo, and so I can see in the preview, and it's got these lettering here. I click open, and it brings it out really big. And so if I move my mouse, if I move the wheel on my mouse, it just shifts it up and down. But if I press and hold the control key and then roll the wheel, it will shift it for me. And then I can go back, and I want to bring this down. The hoop that I have shown in here is a 4x4, and that's the size I would like to have my logo. It's always important to make sure that you are digitizing as close to the actual size you're wanting to use, because that's extremely important. Because if you digitize something really small and then blow it up big, you're not going to get any of that. You're not going to get any of the detail that you would have at a bigger design. If you digitize really large and then shrink it down, all those details make your small design almost bulletproof, because it doesn't remove any lines. It only changes the area sizes. So it's really important to keep that in mind. So I have this shrunk down to the size that I want. Now I'm going to go back to my home tab, and I can say zoom to all, and it's going to zoom it so it automatically all fits in here. So let's talk about this design for a little bit. I have some white space in here that needs to be stitched. I don't want to stitch the outer white space. I just want to fill in the mountains here, because it wouldn't look right. If you put this onto a blue shirt and you didn't stitch this white, the blue would blend in with the sky and it wouldn't look right. I don't care about the cloud. For today, I'm going to just ignore that just for the sake of time. But I have this lettering down here, and I want you to think about this. That's going to be stitched last, because we want to be able to have that sit on top of this black crescent down here, whatever you call that. So let's start digitizing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my Shapes tool, and I'm going to click on this this sharp outline. So the difference between these is this one, and notice this shortcut key is a Z. If you look down at your keyboard, that's the leftmost bottom one there. Next one is X. And so these two are the ones we toggle back and forth between frequently, and I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit. And so this one is sharp corners, this one is rounded corners. So I'm going to start with a sharp corner, and I'm going to change my settings up here. I don't want to have this outline sewn at all, and this is going to be a fill stitch, and we're going to change this to be a medium blue. We're going to do the sky here first. So I'm going to start down here. I'm just going to click here once, and now I can come up here, and I want to change this to a curved point. That's a sharp point down there. I want to change this to a curved point. So I can just simply press the X key, because that's going to toggle it, and notice how my icon changes. Now when I click here, look what happens. It starts curving around the corner. And I can just simply click the whole way out around here. And if you notice, there's a line going the whole way back to my start point. It's trying to close these edges completely. Now, one of the things I want to do is I'm going to come down here and click close to the end once. I'm going to switch back to Z, so it's a sharp point. And now I'm going to click in here once again. Now I'm going to go back to the X for the, actually no, I want to leave that as Z, because these are going to be all sharp corners. See? I went hard corners here. And I'm just kind of doing this real quick. And now at this point, I can double click this right here, and look what it does. It's filled that whole area in there with stitches. Now what I should have done is I should have did the same thing over here. clicked once for a hard point and then gone up here and did a rounded point. Otherwise, I would have flared that out. I can fix that later. That's fine. So I did this part here first. Now I want to do this whole white area in here. So I'm just simply going to change my color to white. I can leave it on hard corners. And I'm just going to click up into here. And you want a little bit of overlap. You don't want to have them just touching. You want a little bit of overlap. And that's going to take a little bit of time to figure out exactly. It's going to depend on what your tension settings are, how big it is, and everything else like that. So I come the whole way down to here. And now I can come to this point. And I double click that. Well, the reason I did the white is I want the black to be stitched after that. But now I can't see the black. So it's really simple. I can go over here on the left side, select that color, and turn the little eyeball off so it just hides it in the background. It's still there, but it's just hidden in the background. So now I need to go in and digitize these black sections as well. So go back to the home screen, go to the shape. This is going to be fairly straight lines here, and I'm going to change this color now to black. And so now I can just click in here, and there's a little bit of a jog in here, so we're going to do this. And I just start clicking around my pattern. Double click. Now come over to here. This is a very grainy picture, and so it's not that important, but if I was doing this professionally, I would definitely take some time and clean that up and try and go in there and get a little bit closer. And then I have one more down here. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go the whole way across to here. Now I'm going to press X on my keyboard so it changes to a curve. I'm going to click in here. And now I just go and start clicking around my sphere. And so what I can do is I can come right down to this corner and double click. And there you go. So now everything is here, but again, I can't see my hiking now. So how do I do that? Well, I go back over here and I select that sphere and I turn the eyeball off. Now I can see my hiking again. So I'm going to add that as lettering on top of it. So I simply go back to my home screen. I click on text. I open that up, and then I can simply type in here somewhere. And I can start typing hiking. And when I get done, I hit enter. And this one's fairly close because I was actually practicing this before. And so this is going to be where I can actually take this and resize this, and then I can take this and I can bring this up here. But I want you to say, let's say you want to choose a different font. So I'm going to bring this down here, and I can open up my font settings here. And if you look down through here, it gives you a preview of what these all look like. So I can quickly come down here and I can look for something that's a little bit more rounded, because I wanted something there was a little bit different. And look right here, this 60, that looks almost perfect, just a little bit big. So it's not a problem. I just take this and now I shrink this down to size to make it match. And there you go. That's pretty close. So I think that's going to look good to me. I can put that back on here. Now I go back and I turn on my eyeballs for these different types of stitches. And there, look at that. That's all in place. But this is 2 layers. This white is solid underneath here. I don't want to have that stitched 2 full layers. So what I'll do is I'll go on the left side and I'm going to click the top layer. And I'm going to hold down my control key and click the layer underneath it. And then I can go to my home tab, and there's this, actually, you know what, I forgot one thing. When you have those both selected, touch this arrow. That makes them both active. See, you got the black squares around it now? They're both selected. Now watch what I can do here. I can go modify overlap. and I'm going to say remove the overlap, and look what happens. If I take, I'm going to click out here, if I take this one and move it out, there's now a hole in place. See, it's back there? And so that's what we need to do. We need to go here. We need to select, hold down the control key, select the background again, click the arrow, go to the home screen, modify overlap, remove overlap, and there we go. It is all done, and it's ready to go. Now let's say I'd like to put an outline stitch in here to cover up this transition. Like maybe a nice silver would be in there. It's very simply done. I go back up to my shapes again. I click on this straight line tool. I'm going to change the color. See, now it's the line tool. I need to say that this needs to be done in a zigzag stitch. We're going to change this color to a silver, and I can simply click once there, once up here, down in the V, and when I get to the end, I just double click. And there you go. Now, oh, my mountains got a little peaked off there. They're not very pretty. I like to have them more pointed. I can click select, and over on the right side, I can go to my sewing attributes, and it says, do you want the corners sharp or do you want them pointed? I want to go to pointed, and there we go. So that's a quick lesson in how to do that. We'll follow up with some more options and later, some more of these tools, but I had a request of a customer to show how this was done. And that's a quick lesson in how to manually punch out and digitize. Thanks much. Talk to you later.